Hello everyone, welcome to a new video of this continuous training program from Jugando Aprendo Editorial. Today, we will talk about some generalities of English as a third language teaching in Guatemala, as well as neuroscience of bilingualism. Afterwards, we will analyze the different methodologies that influence the Fun with English program, and finally, we will present some tools included as additional components to complement the program. Through all the video, we will switch between English and Spanish when we consider that we need to widely explain some meaningful aspects of the subjects. Let's do it. In Guatemala, English is the most common language assigned a third language in the curriculum. It is actually established as it in the basic national curriculum. Although English is a foreign language, before the creation of the new base curriculum in 2007, many schools around our country were teaching it more often than some local languages, reason why it was considered as a second language. But when the new base curriculum got invalidity, English took the third place behind the Mayan languages that come in the national program as L2. This is an open, flexible, and perfectible curriculum focused in the communication skills. This is not an English language curriculum per se, because it was made to be adapted to other language when it needed. The third language curriculum includes the following components: oral communication skills, reading and writing skills, social and affective skills, and cultural skills. The oral and writing components are focused in perception, comprehension, and production abilities, in this case, of English language. In the social and affective component, students develop skills to communicate with others following the social rules that allow them to adapt and integrate into different environments when they need to communicate using the new language. And last, the cultural component gives the students the necessary knowledge to adapt their speech to the cultural background on the regions where the idiom comes from. The third language curriculum was established from elementary level up. For preschool, there isn't criteria to guide the teaching of it. Anyway, we can take the first grade curriculum as base to infer the communication competences that preschool students need when they begin the elementary level. Any curriculum that pretends to develop the basic skills to learn a foreign language must include auditory perception skills, pronunciation skills, basic vocabulary skills, phonemic awareness, and basic conversation skills. Following the stage of language development, preschool students will achieve an A1 or A2 level of CEFR. The Common European Framework of Reference for Language, CEFR, is an international standard for describing language abilities. For the A1 level of CEFR, the students can understand and use everyday expressions and very basic phrases aimed at the satisfaction of needs of a concrete type. They can introduce themselves and others and can ask and answer questions about personal details such as where they live, people they know, and things they have. Can interact in a simple way provided that the other person talks low and clearly and is prepared to help them. Los niños en el nivel A1 del idioma inglés son capaces de entender y utilizar vocabulario cotidiano y expresiones básicas. Con ayuda puede expresar sus necesidades, seguir instrucciones, nombrar objetos de su entorno y hacer pequeñas descripciones de ellos. Some students can reach the A2 level characterized by understand sentences and frequently use expressions related to areas of most immediate relevance, like very basic personal and family information, shopping, local geography, employment, and more. Also, these students are able to communicate in simple and routine tasks requiring a simple and direct exchange of information on familiar and routine matters. They can describe in simple terms aspects of their background, immediate environment, and matters in areas of immediate need. Por lo tanto, un niño o niña que alcanza el nivel A2 es capaz de comunicarse a través de frases simples relacionadas con sus necesidades y con situaciones de su entorno. Tiene mejores habilidades para hacer descripciones, comunicarse e intercambiar información a nivel básico. En el preescolar, nuestro objetivo será entonces estimular al niño y a la niña para alcanzar de preferencia este último nivel, aunque no debamos olvidar que, como todo desarrollo cognitivo, requiere que no solo se dé un aprendizaje sistemático, sino también la estimulación adecuada para alcanzar el dominio de las distintas competencias. La velocidad en que los niños y las niñas alcancen estas competencias dependerá únicamente de su propio ritmo de desarrollo, el cual no debemos forzar, sino que por el contrario, estimular y motivar. When it comes about learning a foreign language, there are only two reasons: need to learn and want to learn. Because we live in a Spanish environment, kids don't have the urgent need to learn to speak English. That is why the objective for preschool English teachers will be make kids highly motivated to learn English language. For many years, the hypothesis of a critical period for the acquisition of language has been debated. This hypothesis affirmed that there is a period in human life where we have a window to learn and develop language, and after this period, it is impossible to do it. This debate concerned especially to the acquisition of a second language. But today, in the 21st century, with all the advance in the study of neuroscience, scientists finally begin to find answers to this question. And what do they say? They partially agree with this hypothesis because it is true that younger people seem to be skillful to learn a second language than older people in comparison. This doesn't mean that older people can't learn a second language. It only means that younger people have less difficulty to do it. Anyway, scientists don't establish standard periods for the second language acquisition because some people show high proficiency in the achievement of bilingual skills after puberty, and some others lose this ability earlier of that age. Tagarelli, in 2014, led an investigation about the impact that the acquisition of a second language has in the adult brain. This investigation has very interesting results. The adult brain has the ability to adapt the established neuronal roots of the native language to the new language. Thus, the adult brain has neuroplasticity. So, the acquisition of a second language produces functional changes in the brain. Otras investigaciones se han llevado a cabo en relación al impacto que el aprendizaje de una segunda lengua puede tener en el cerebro, cuyos resultados pueden dividirse en dos: impacto en la actividad cerebral a través del uso de resonancia magnética. Observaron modificaciones en las rutas neuronales o sinapsis cerebrales. Y también hay un impacto en la estructura cerebral, en donde se observaron cambios en la materia gris, en la que se puede observar engrosamiento de esta área o de esta estructura. Si bien este impacto puede observarse durante la edad adulta, cuando ha terminado la etapa crítica para la adquisición del lenguaje, imaginemos el impacto que tendrá en nuestros estudiantes que están justamente atravesando ese periodo crítico de aprendizaje para el área del lenguaje. But why teach English and not other language? The 21st century is the century of globalization. All countries, especially those in Latin America, are looking to enhance their competitiveness and to activate their economies, the international collaboration, and their general development. In a study around the world, executives from different countries were interviewed about what kind of skills their companies need in order to increase their productivity outside of their own countries. 68% consider that English proficiency is necessary, in contrast with 8% that says Mandarin and 6% that shows Spanish as a language with a global impact for their business. Also in a research, Latin American governments recognize the business community's need for an English proficient workforce. In our country, it is well known that a good proficiency in English language provides better professional opportunities and higher salaries. Taga in 1999 defines culture as social heredity transmitted from one generation to another through the experience that we live in society. Culture is not biologic. It is a learned pattern of social behavior that we follow since born. Culture is formed with beliefs, values, ideas, and knowledge. All this is communicated through language. The cultural context determines the way people interact and make perceptions about situations or objects of life. And the existence of culture in human societies is possible because the use of common language among the people. Research in the field of English language teaching has significantly contributed valuable insights on the integration of cultural awareness into English language teaching programs. A range of cultural teaching strategies offer interactive classroom activities to non-native learners for practicing language as a communicative process. Si apelamos de nuevo a la globalización, veremos que cada día más se hace necesario el valor de la interculturalidad, que se entiende como la capacidad de adecuarse de manera eficaz a diversos entornos sociales en los que convergen distintas culturas. Por lo tanto, la enseñanza de un lenguaje debe traducirse en ayudar y guiar a un estudiante en la construcción de las competencias de interculturalidad a través de actividades como organizar la información cultural, crear nuevas oportunidades, aprender a vivir y manejar la incertidumbre, buscar ayuda en el contexto, reconocer y valorar las diferencias entre las culturas y comprender y respetar la conducta cultural de otras personas. La interculturalidad contribuye con la autodefinición, ya que tal y como lo dice Eco, no puede existir la conciencia de un yo sin que exista un tú con que compararlo. A través de la tecnología del siglo XXI ha surgido lo que se conoce como diálogo cultural, y no es sino la interacción de infinidad de culturas a través del diálogo, pudiendo ser en persona o, como es más común, a través de la Internet. Este fenómeno despierta distintas corrientes ideológicas en el plano educativo a nivel cultural. Estas ideologías son, o estas corrientes ideológicas, está el multiculturalismo, que posee dos corrientes. La asimilacionista, que pretende la absorción de los rasgos culturales dominantes por parte de otras culturas, promoviendo una cultura homogénea. Y la integracionista, que pretende que las distintas culturas adopten a una sola como dominante. También tenemos el pluralismo, que entiende la diversidad cultural como positiva y promueve que cada grupo conserve la cultura propia. Luego está el interculturalismo, que va a ver la diversidad cultural como riqueza y promueve el intercambio cultural, el diálogo entre culturas y una estructura social igualitaria. Los docentes de una lengua extranjera deben intentar conectar a sus estudiantes con nuevas realidades culturales, dándoles la oportunidad de entrar en otra sociedad y ver su propia lengua y su sociedad a través de los ojos de un extranjero, pero a la vez poder ver con empatía a esta otra sociedad y su cultura. No se trata de obligarlos a adoptar una nueva cultura como en el caso del multiculturalismo, ni de conocer otra cultura para criticarla o rechazarla como en el caso del pluralismo, sino más bien de construir una plataforma que les permita apreciar la riqueza de la propia cultura a la vez que se respeta y se valoran otras culturas buscando la convivencia dentro de una cultura de paz. Veamos entonces ahora el programa de Jugando Aprendo. Jugando Aprendo Editorial comes up with an English program designed to be a perfect tool to introduce kids in the way to build the necessary skills to learn English as a third language. It is based in the CEFR for languages, focused in build the necessary skills to reach level A1 or A2 in a process divided in 5 different inner levels. Level A, Level B, Level C, Level 1, and Level 2. These levels are not assigned to a specific grade or age. Each school could make their own evaluation to assign a level according to the characteristics and competencies of their kids. Level 1 and Level 2 are divided into different components. Language, where kids will be working on auditory perception skills, pronunciation skills, basic vocabulary skills, basic conversation skills, number and counting skills. And phonics, where kids will be introduced in phonemic awareness and early writing skills. The program integrates different techniques from the most advanced methodologies to develop skills in preschoolers, including neurolinguistic programming, multiple intelligences, project-based learning, Montessori method, emotional intelligence, and values education. We will take some time to explore generalities of each methodology with the objective to know the basis that let you apply them successfully in your classroom. Let's begin with neurolinguistic program. Neural refers to the central nervous system, which processes the information we collect through our 5 senses: hearing, sight, smell, taste, and touch. Linguistics suggests that language and how we use it in our daily life reflects what we think, feel, and believe. Programming indicates that our thoughts, feelings, and actions can be programmed and modeled so we can reach our objectives and goals. Neurolinguistic programming allows the students to know and understand how the brain works and how to modify their way of thinking and acting in order to achieve the objectives that are expected from any field of human activity. The NLP model explains how we process information that comes to us from the outside through our senses. And 5 modalities are the different preferred ways of perceiving information, and these modalities are visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, gustatory, and digital. NLP teaches that most people have a preferred representational system. This means that one of the 6 modalities is dominant in their thought and learning process. La importancia de conocer el sistema de representación de nuestros alumnos es que nos permite reflejar en nuestra comunicación con ellos este mismo sistema para poder lograr una comunicación efectiva acorde a su proceso de pensamiento y con ello iniciar su aprendizaje y modificar su conducta. Let's review this. Visual thinking occurs when information is stored and processed through images. Una vez que identificamos a los niños y las niñas con esta modalidad preferente, debemos comunicarnos con ellos a través de palabras que se relacionen con imágenes y visualizaciones tales como "Do you see what I mean? I can picture that. Look at this from my point of view. Imagine the scene. Preferentemente, estos niños y niñas necesitan ver imágenes o ilustraciones, trabajar a través del color, pintando o coloreando, juegos que utilizan un medio visual como por ejemplo la memoria, la lotería, el dominó, etc. In the auditory mode, information is processed through sounds. Con ello debemos utilizar lenguaje que se relacione con sonidos y con escuchar, tales como "Do you hear what I am saying? I like the sound of that idea. Now you're talking my language. I hear you. Can you hear me, please?" Actividades como seguir ritmos, repetir frases y canciones, escuchar cuentos y poemas y juegos como teléfono descompuesto, cielo, mar y tierra, Simón dice, el rey pide, gallina ciega, etc., favorecen a los niños con esta modalidad preferente. In the kinesthetic modality, information is processed through movement and touch. Con ellos debemos utilizar lenguaje que se relaciona con tomar acción o hacer algo. I want to get to grips with that. Let's give it a go. I have a firm foundation in. I feel we may do well if we do this or we do that. Actividades dinámicas como las manualidades, los deportes, juegos activos como róbate la cola, tenta, policías y ladrones, carreras, etc., favorecerán su comprensión y aprendizaje. A estos sistemas de representación los conocemos comúnmente como canales de aprendizaje. Now, how we teach using techniques based on PNL. There are three elements that can distortion the perception in the brain. We have to pay attention in this. Deletion. This is too much information for the learner to handle. El niño o niña omite parte de la información para poder acortarla y hacerla manejable, porque le estamos dando demasiada información. Como docentes debemos dosificar adecuadamente la cantidad de información o vocabulario que vamos a pedir a los niños y niñas que procesen cada día. Distortion. Language learners will distort information into forms which are understandable and learnable. Como hay parte de la información que el niño no comprende, distorsiona las partes que sí logra comprender y la organiza para que tenga cierto sentido, aunque no sea correcta. Por ello debemos adecuar el lenguaje a la edad y desarrollo de los niños y las niñas. Generalization. This happens when we take the information and draw broad conclusions. Cuando se utiliza la generalización en forma excesiva, se suele hacer mal uso de las reglas o normas sociales y puede también que se saquen conclusiones erróneas. Por ejemplo, si decimos, las pelotas son redondas, nuestra mente, al ver una pelota de fútbol americano, la va a rechazar dentro de la clasificación de pelotas. Utilizar la descripción directa en lugar de la generalización es lo que se debe hacer como técnica. Por ejemplo, esta pelota es redonda. La manzana que traje es verde. The NLP says that everything that a person could learn is dictated by their personality filters. Those filters are identified as beliefs, values, decisions, and memories. Los niños y las niñas tendrán conflicto cuando alguna premisa no coincide con sus creencias. Por ejemplo, si decimos el hombre evolucionó de los simios, algún niño con una fe cristiana muy arraigada entrará en conflicto con esa idea y no podrá aceptarla. Los valores son la base de lo que los niños y las niñas creen que es correcto o incorrecto, lo que desean y necesitan saber y lo que no desean y no necesitan saber. Por ejemplo, un niño o niña puede negarse a realizar una colección de insectos basado en su valor ecológico y respeto a los animales. Las memorias y las decisiones previas forman las creencias que afectan la conducta, por lo que en ocasiones va a ser necesario someter a los niños y a las niñas en procesos de descondicionamiento reforzando las conductas ¿Qué esperamos de ellos? Teaching techniques that integrate the PNL method. Music in the background. Trabajar con música de fondo ayudará al niño y la niña a concentrar su atención, relajarse y enfocarse. Mime and drama. Actividades donde se utiliza el lenguaje gestual y corporal contribuyen con la internalización de la información percibida por los sentidos, además de trabajar la confianza en sí mismos, la autoconciencia y la autoestima. Storytelling. Contar historias es invaluable dentro de la programación neurolingüística. Normalmente, las historias son utilizadas para modelar conductas, valores y creencias y también pueden utilizarse para introducir vocabulario. Guided Fantasy. Son actividades en las que el maestro crea un ambiente a partir de la imaginación de los niños y niñas para introducir un juego, una historia o hacer uso de vocabulario previamente aprendido para empujar la conversación. Role Play and Simulation. A través del juego de roles se puede empujar a los niños y niñas a reflejar conductas de modelos positivos y a la vez hacer uso de sus competencias de comunicación. Let's see now multiple intelligences. This theory was developed in 1983 by Dr. Howard Gardner and points that human talents and intelligence is more than the old IQ test has shown. It talks about many different sides of cognition or cognitive styles. The original Howard Gardner theory includes 7 styles of intelligence: linguistic, logical mathematical, spatial, bodily kinesthetic, musical, interpersonal, and intrapersonal. In 1999, he added the naturalistic intelligence too. How we use this in the classroom. Teachers need to plan different activities to acknowledge the necessities of a diverse class, where they will find kids with different talents who will respond better to one technique than another. Linguistic intelligence. Niños y niñas que muestran habilidad para la inteligencia lingüística aprenderán mejor a través de los cuentos, poemas, juegos donde predomine la lectura y la escritura como basta, ahorcado, sopas de letras, etc. Logical mathematical. Estos estudiantes muestran habilidades relacionadas con los números y el cálculo. Pueden responder mejor a actividades de lógica como rompecabezas, sudokus, tangramas, dominós, seguimiento de series, patrones, etc. Spatial intelligence. Los niños y niñas que muestran talento espacial se pueden ver beneficiados con actividades como construcciones con bloques, tangramas, manualidades, baile coreográfico, elaboración de carteles, etc. Bodily kinesthetic. Estos niños y niñas encontrarán mayor motivación, placer y facilidad en actividades que requieran el aprender haciendo, como dramas, mímicas, juegos de roles, manualidades, construcciones, juegos de patio, rondas, etc. También actividades deportivas pueden apoyar el aprendizaje de los estudiantes con habilidades kinestésicas. Musical. Todas las actividades que involucren música, canto, baile, ritmo, entonación, son actividades que van a apoyar el aprendizaje de los niños y niñas musicales. Naturalistic. Los estudiantes con habilidades naturalistas se apoyan en actividades de carácter científico, como experimentos, investigación, trabajo de campo, excursiones, etc. Interpersonal. Los niños y niñas que poseen esta inteligencia son muy sociales, pueden aprender a través de la observación de su entorno, por lo que las actividades como trabajos colaborativos apoyan su aprendizaje de otras áreas. Intrapersonal son niños y niñas que aprenden a través de la interacción con su propia experiencia y con sus diálogos internos. La lectura silenciosa, la construcción de esquemas gráficos, la elaboración de resúmenes y actividades que permitan la metacognición son actividades ideales para permitirles un aprendizaje más significativo. Algunas actividades pueden ser activadoras de varias inteligencias a la vez, así que debemos buscar cuáles son y permitirnos utilizarlas dentro de nuestra clase para poder hacer una estimulación integral de los niños y las niñas de nuestra aula. Now we talk about project-based learning, PBL. It is an instructional approach built upon learning activities and real tasks that challenge students to solve problems. Generally, PBL is done by groups of students working together toward a common goal. However, the most little ones should work in pairs, sharing materials but working individually, since we must respect their stage of development. Through PBL, we can teach students not just contents, but also important skills to train them to be able to function as they are supposed to do in real world. These skills include communication and presentation skills, organization and time management skills, research and inquire skills, self-assessment and reflection skills, group participation and leadership skills, and critical thinking. Las ventajas de trabajar proyectos con los niños y las niñas de edad preescolar son que ponen en práctica los conocimientos adquiridos. A través del trabajo de proyecto, los niños también logran comprender, aplicar y retener mejor la información. Es más efectivo que una enseñanza tradicional y ayuda a alcanzar las competencias de aprendizaje propuestas. También desarrolla destrezas, desarrolla habilidades emocionales y sociales y permite a los niños y niñas destacar en sus talentos. Cuando trabajamos por proyectos es muy importante rotar los roles de los estudiantes para que todos tengan la misma oportunidad de desarrollar las distintas habilidades que se practican en cada rol de los grupos colaborativos. Montessori Method. It was created by Maria Montessori at principles of 20th century from a deep study and analysis of the children's abilities development. That is why, even when it's not a modern method, it is still considered the basis of the modern pedagogy. Maria Montessori believed that the initial 6 years of a child's life are crucial for a child's development because they are in a sensitive period where they absorb information with a little effort. This is the reason why it's so easy for young children to learn a second language. One of the most curious things in the language curriculum of the Maria Montessori method is that writing comes before reading. Kids are introduced to phonemic awareness using manipulative and multisensory materials that allows them to easily learn the ABC, the shape, and the sounds of each letter. This multisensory approach is vital. Seeing and hearing the letter naturally leads to reading. Feeling and tracing the shape of the letters will become in writing skills. The Montessori language lesson has 3 moments. First, introduction. The teacher presents and models the material. Second, recognition. After practicing and playing with the material, the kid will answer recognition questions about the subject. And third, recall. When the kid masters the recognition stage, they will move on to answer complex questions to take the new knowledge into the context. La importancia del método Montessori aplicado a la enseñanza del lenguaje es la presentación a través de materiales manipulativos, especialmente en las etapas de introducción y reconocimiento, además de la instrucción a través del juego tan importante para el preescolar. Emotional intelligence. This is a concept built by Goldman. It involves the ability to monitor feelings and emotions to distinguish among them, and to monitor them in order to guide the thinking and actions. This ability is expressed using language. So, we can say that language, gestural, oral, and writing is the outcome of emotions. When we are teaching a second language, we can leave emotion outside because the most essential components of expression are what we feel, think, and interpret from the world around. Also, if students build a positive self-esteem and a high level of emotional intelligence, they will have a better perspective about their own learning process and the intrinsic motivation they need to learn a second language when they don't need to do it. Values education starts at home and continues throughout life. But values education in school plays an important part in the consolidation of values as an important part of the character. School has the perfect social environment to bring the values to the everyday life. It also brings a good leadership and model role through the teachers. Values must be an integral part of the curriculum as mainstream axes that connect the different academic areas with life. The areas that come under value-based education are character development, personality development, citizenship education, and spiritual development. Now we have some additional components that comes with the Fun with English program. Recognizing that the stage of development on the preschoolers correspond to a pre-operational thinking where they need manipulate objects and be stimulated through their different senses, the Fun with English program includes some components that can be integrated in the daily routine of the classroom to introduce, practice, and consolidate the skill through the gaming. These components are flashcards. Integrated in the book, teachers can find the vocabulary of each unit represented in cutouts cards that students can use to make different activities like memory cards, lottery, find the word, guess who, etc. La ventaja de las flashcards dentro del libro es permitir que cada niño y niña tenga su propia colección y pueda manipularlas y jugar con ellas para afianzar el vocabulario. Posters. For each classroom, there is a kit with posters that show the vocabulary for each unit. The objective is to provide a visual aid that brings a constant stimulation to consolidate vocabulary. With a little creativity, teachers can create an interactive resource available for kids to play anytime, motivating the use of the previous unit vocabulary to reinforce during the year. En videos posteriores veremos algunos ejemplos de los posters interactivos que se pueden crear. Montessori Box. As the Montessori material, Montessori Box contains different kinds of manipulative tools that can be used in English class as games, sensory materials, or visual aids. Los materiales de la cajita Montessori son sumamente versátiles y pueden ser utilizados para reforzar cualquiera de las áreas académicas, incluida el área de inglés. También mostraremos posteriormente algunas maneras de adaptar el material para ser utilizado en actividades lúdicas. Conclusions. For the Guatemalan national curriculum, English is considered a third language behind the other native language belonging to our country. English is not part of the preschool Guatemalan national curriculum. However, because of the importance of this foreign language on the economic and social development of our country and for the students as individuals, it is imperative to begin an early stimulation to set the basis students will need to reach a higher level of proficiency of this language. The acquisition of this language is not only an advantage for the economical and personal development, it is also a good exercise for the plasticity and development of the brain by making proliferate the neural connections. The Fun with English program helps preschool students to reach a level A1 or A2 of the Common European Framework of Reference for Language through a system that includes techniques from the most vanguard methodologies of 21st century, including neurolinguistic programming, project-based learning, Montessori education, and more. The program is complemented with components that allow students to develop the communication skills through multisensory activities and gaming. This is how we reach the end of this video. I want to invite you to stay with us during the last module of the continuous training program from Jugando Aprendo editorial. In the next video, we will talk about the development process of a second language, the different stages of a second language acquisition, and how they are organized in the Fun with English program. See you soon. Bye.